children, welcome back to my channel Happy Learning Mathematics. Today we will be learning about our 21st chapter, which is ratio. Okay, so under this lesson we will be covering four important topics. So let's move on to it now. So these are the four topics. As you are learning ratios for the very first time in grade 6, so I'll be giving you an introduction on what is a ratio. Next, we will be learning about equivalent ratio, then how to simplify a ratio, to write a ratio in its simplest form. At last, we will be learning about rate as well. So let's move on to the lesson now. Now, what is a ratio? Ratio is a numerical relationship between the amounts of two or more quantities, or else we can say it is used to compare the amounts of two or more groups. In order to explain that, I am going to write two sentences in here. So look at the first sentence in here. Nimal is taller than Saman. In this sentence, are there any numerical values? Even though they are comparing the height of Nimal and Saman, there aren't any numerical values to it, right? So, this cannot be given as a ratio. So, let's look at the second sentence, which is, there are 15 boys and 17 girls in a class. So here they are comparing the number of boys to the girls in a class, whereas it's 15 and 17. So they have given numerical values, so it can be indicated as a ratio. So the next thing you need to consider when you write a ratio is they must be in the same units. So look at the first sentence. And bought 2 bottles of milk and 2 kilograms of sugar. Here, the number of bottles and the amount of sugar has been compared, where they are two different units. Okay, this is in kilograms, this is the number of bottles. So, this cannot be indicated in a ratio. Look at the second sentence. Mother bought 250 grams of tea and 500 grams of flour. So these two are in the same unit, so you can write it as a ratio. Okay. So another important thing you need to consider when you write a ratio is you should not indicate the units when you write it. That means here I have taken the same example where mother bought 250 grams of tea and 500 grams of flour. So we are comparing the amount of tea leaves to the amount of flour. Am I right? So we should indicate the values. 250 grams, here it's 500. But if you put the unit like this, it will be marked as wrong. So you should not mark the units in here. Just the numerical values has to be written. And the last thing you need to consider is the symbol. So as you know, the symbol used to indicate the ratio is this. You should separate the numerical values with this symbol only. So here I have written the summary of what we learned. So first you learned ratio is used to compare the quantities and they must be in the same units as well. Okay. For example, now you can compare the quantities of kilograms and grams because even though they are different units, they are convertible to the same unit. That means kilograms can be converted to grams. Am I right? So this is a unit of measurement where this is convertible. So you can compare these two and write the ratio. But you cannot compare a kilogram and a liter because this is the measurement of mass, and whereas this is liquid measurement. So you cannot compare these two because they are different units. And third, you should not write the units when you write the values, and the values must be separated using this symbol. So now the next thing we will be learning is equivalent ratio. So in order to explain that, I'll be doing a small activity to make you understand it better. So the next heading under ratio, we will be learning about equivalent ratios. So on the equivalent ratio, I'm going to give you a quick examples here. I have kept two green color sticks and I have 3 red color sticks in here. So the number of green to red stick is 2 to 3. Now I'm going to double the number of sticks in each color. That means I'm doubling the amount of the previous amount. Right? So this is, now here we have 4 green sticks and we have 6 red sticks. Now how did we get this number? We have doubled, that means we have multiplied both the terms by 2. Isn't it? As you can see, now 2 times 2 is 4 and 3 times 2 is 6. So this is an equivalent ratio for 2 to 3. To give you another example, I am keeping thrice the amount, I mean 3 times the previous amount. Okay, so here I have kept 3 pair, 3 times the previous amount, and here also I have kept 3 pairs on green as well. So as you can see now, the amount of green color sticks are 6 and amount of red color sticks are 9. Now how did we get this? We have multiplied the amount by 3. So this is also an equivalent ratio. So to sum up, this is known as equivalent ratio. This is how we find equivalent ratio. So I have multiplied it with 2 and got 4 to 6. Here I have multiplied with 3 and got 6 to 9. So you can get as many equivalent ratios for a specific ratio. So it doesn't have to be always multiplied by 2 or 3 only. You can multiply with any number, but all the terms must be multiplied with the same number. Another thing you need to know is how to read a ratio. It's very easy, children. So look at this ratio. This is read as 1 to 2. That's it. To give you another example, we do have 3 numerical values. So you read this as 2 to 3 to 5. That's all. So that's how you read a ratio. The third topic of today's lesson will be writing the ratio in its simplest form. Let's take the example 2 to 4. So as you can see here, first you need to check what is the number which can divide both number 2 and 4 without a remainder. That means without making it as a decimal number. So 2 and 4 can be divided by 2. Isn't it? So you should divide both the numbers by 2. 2 divided by 2 and 4 is divided by 2. The answer is 1 to 2. Let's take another example. 12 to 8 to 4. Now there are 3 numerical values being compared. Now let's check for a number which can divide all 3 numbers without a remainder. So here we can divide these numbers by 2 as well as by 4. But always go with the maximum value. Okay, it reduces the steps. Okay, if you divide by 2, you will have to divide again. So better if you go with the maximum number which can divide all 3 numbers. So I'll be dividing it with number 4. 12 divided by 4, 8 divided by 4 and 4 divided by 4. So the answer is 3, 2, 1. So 3 to 2 to 1. So it's a very simple topic under how to simplify the ratio. Now let's move on to the very last topic. The last topic of our lesson is rate. So what is a rate? So rate is actually the comparison of values with the different quantities, different unit quantities. So the difference of the ratio and rate is where ratio is actually the comparison between the same units, whereas rate is used to compare two different units. So I have written 2 examples in here, sentences here. First one is price of a pencil is rupees 15. So here this denotes one pencil. That means the number of pencil, whereas this denotes the price of it. So they are 2 different units. Am I right? So this is a rate. Second example, a car can travel 10 kilometers with 1 liter of petrol. So this is the distance given in kilometers and this is the measurement of the petrol, which is 1 liter. So they are 2 different units. So this is known as a rate. So let's go to the topic, what is an exchange rate? So now we have come to a very last topic, which is rate, and under that we are learning about exchange rate. Now what is an exchange rate? Let's say you do have a $1 bill, American bill. Okay. Now you want to convert that money into Sri Lankan rupees. You need now to exchange it to our currency. So when you give that $1 bill, what will they do? They will check today's value of US dollar and will give you the exact amount of according to the exchange rate of that US dollar. So I have extracted this column from your textbook. This book was printed actually back in 2015. So that's why here 1 US dollar indicates 131 Sri Lankan rupees. So now it has increased a lot. Okay. So today I checked, it is around 185 rupees. So it actually differs according to the time. Okay. And another one from your textbook is 1 euro is equal to 181 Sri Lankan rupees. So you can ask from your father or mother or some elders from your home to check today's exchange rate for Sri Lankan currency. They will be able to tell you that. Okay. So this is known as rate. Why? Now this is in US dollar, whereas this is given in Sri Lankan rupees. So that's why this used to call as rate, 2 different units. So I'm going to write, ask something. Now, how much will you get if you give a $10 bill? So will you get 131 rupees? No, right? If you give a $10 bill, let's say now $1 is 131 rupees. So if you give $10, you will get 131 into 10. Am I right? Because $1 is 131. So $10 is 131 multiplied by 10, which is rupees 1310 rupees. So this is how much you will get if this is the exchange rate. If you give $10, you will be getting this amount. Okay, so that's all under the lesson, children. So in order to give you a clear understanding of what is a rate and what is a ratio, I'll be doing a small activity to give you a clear understanding of it. So let's move on to that. So in order to conclude this lesson, I have written few sentences here. So as you have learnt about ratios and rates now, we will try to identify which sentences can be written as a ratio and which can be written into a rate. Okay, so let's start with the first sentence, which is 4 eggs are required to make a cake with 500 grams of flour. So here these are the two numerical values. Here this denotes the number of eggs, whereas the other one denotes the weight of the flour. So they are two different units. So this is a rate. That means this can be written as a rate in here. Okay. So the next sentence, right, what is it? It is necessary to mix 3 tablespoons of sugar with 9 tablespoons of milk powder when making a jug of milk. So these are the two measurements, 3 tablespoons and 9 tablespoons. So both are in same unit. So this can be written into a ratio. You understand the difference? Right. Next one. Ajit took 2 hours to finish reading a book, while Amit took 3 hours to complete. So this is 2 hours plus 3 hours. So both are in same unit. So it can be written into a ratio. Okay. Next one. To prepare a liter of milk, 400 milliliters of fruit juice and 600 milliliters of water was required. So in a drink, there were 400 ml of fruit juice and 600 milliliter of water. So both are in same unit. So this can be written as a ratio. Okay. Right. The next one. 4 men can dig a well in 2 days. So here this is number of people, whereas this is the number of days, 2 days. So this is not a ratio, it can be given it as a rate. Okay. Next one. The price of 2 loaves of bread is rupees 40. So again here, as you can see, this is the number of loaves and here the price of the loaf. So it is a rate. Okay. Last one. To make a cement mixture, it is necessary to mix 1 pan of cement with 6 pans of sand. As they have given both in number of pans 1 and 6, cement to sand. So this is a comparison between two numerical values with the same unit. So, they can be written as a ratio. So, that's all under this lesson. Now, you might know about the differences of ratio and a rate, and you know how to write the given values in a ratio and what has to be followed in order to do that. So, you might be able to do the exercises from your textbook. So, see you in the next video. Have a nice day.